One day I'll figure out like an appropriate volume for that, but that's not today. I'm back. The Align bust back in with the fourth cast of this season. We're on day 3 and I'm already at game 4, which is impressive to say the least, but I do kind of need to keep that pace up if I want to meet my goal. As seen in the title, we are at cast 4 of 125, seeing if I can chase down that record, so to speak. But we do have a Division E East game. This time we have Gambit Gaming Blur facing off against 30 Seconds to Mosh, which should be a good one. I am friends with a few people in both these teams. Both these teams have some lovely folks. I was previously on the roster for 30 Seconds to Mosh. Gambit Gaming Blur approached me to see if I wanted to play for them this season. I kind of went, I'm not sure if I'm really into it at the moment. So that led us to here, where we do have these two teams that I don't know anything about in terms of how the games exactly went. I have a general idea, but not exactly. But to kind of talk about what we have, we did see that Gambit Gaming Blur banned out both Towers of Doom and Garden of Terror, actually. And then we see Braxis and Dragonshire banned up 36 to Mosh. Both of apparently just not trusting their offlane. Those are two very important offlane maps. And that leads us to Tomb of the Spider Queen, or Tomb of the Spider Butts if you do prefer. So, we're getting into it now. I do have the map loading up in the background. That should be triggering in a few moments. And I've mistimed it again, of course. Look at the beetle. That beetle doesn't get shot anymore. It's vibing. Look at him go. He's living his best life. He's about to expire, and he's left the map. Anyway, we do have a good luck have funds coming out. So on the left-hand side of Gambit Gaming Blue, we have Ezo on the Vala. I'm not going to bother saying the GG every time, because it always means Gambit Gaming in this regard. But we do have Harkin A on the... Oh gosh, I accidentally pushed that. Harkin on that Kerrigan, Gossamer on the Diablo, Bloody Drapes is on the Deathwing, and Astro Ski on the Brightwing. Me on the other side, we do have Moby 1 on the Muradin. I imagine we're going to see Diapants be off lane on Blaze, just because Blaze is considered one of those better off laners. The Captain on Jaina, Sub-Zero on the Tychus, and Born to Shine on Rhaegar, which Rhaegar was one of the heroes she was banned out a lot back in Season 9 when she was playing on the team Illa Dancing Queens. But those days are behind them. They've been on this roster a while now, albeit it has gone through a slight name change. Meanwhile, Gif, that Sub-Zero, I should say, I used to calling him Gif, so I'll have to make sure I get that correct, is just going to minigun some people, throw a grenade, run away. Speaking about running away, we do see Queens coming out, Captain pulled in by Kerrigan, a little bit too much damage coming out, and that will be the Jaina being taken down. Just, you got to be careful about how you're positioning against the composition such as, or any Kerrigan comp essentially, because they can pull you in and they're likely to get a good kill onto you. And we can see that that was the case. They do have a good first position. Moby-1 doing what damage you can. Oh, not really damage, but slowing down Gossamer for what they can. I'm just checking something because I have been told I need to prep some food tonight for tomorrow because we've got a slow cooker going on, and I got to make sure I do that. Of my housemates will be very disappointed in me, and because dinner tomorrow will be quite late, which I don't quite want to do to the team, not to the team, to the housemates, but you know, sometimes you forget, sometimes you don't. I'm going to set a reminder for an hour and pray that this doesn't go much longer. Anyway, we do see that Gossamer is in danger. Actually, there's a good grenade by Sub-Zero, pushing them back into the Tychus range for minigun, but no one will go down ultimately. Let's see what's happening bottom. I'll say I don't know if this favors Deathwing. I actually don't know. I think, in all honesty, I say most offlanes favor Blaze at this point. Blaze is one of those heroes who's just very versatile. He can get a lot done. The stuns are good. The slows are good. The fire is... He has pretty good damage as well. He can double soak. Like, he really can kind of do it all, and that's what you want as an offlane. Meanwhile, this camp is bearing down now. Stun going up by Gossamer, not really necessary. As stunning a tank in these situations, like, yeah, sure, you can kind of go, ooh, got you. But it doesn't add too much extra behind it. Jaina, on the other hand, is something a bit more scary, but there's an awkward positioning where it wasn't happening. But they got good value out of this camp. This camp has gone like half a gate, which is more than you kind of generally expect if you're well-timed on these camps. It was just a little bit later by 36 and Mosh, but ultimately it will be fine. Meanwhile, Harkin 8 was caught in an awkward spot. Nice charge by Gossamer, catching Muradin mid-jump. Meanwhile, we do see that it is Sub-Zero getting pulled and stunned by Kerrigan. And Moby1 seeing if they can stall out Harkin. Harkin just going to turn in as a melee assassin with 21 gems. Is just basically a walking pinata. Eventually it's going to pop, just it depends on what is inside. Gossamer really high up compared to the rest of the team, taking a lot of damage for it. Fortunately, Moby1 wasn't, for Gossamer, Moby1 wasn't quite there and is out of resources. We can see that's actually a punish onto Moby1. Doesn't quite go down. Deathwing, I should note, is in the air. Just lands now. Dire Pants there to greet them. And actually, Bloody Drakes wasn't able to get full value, but Dire has found the enemy. Does charge all the way out. Thank you to that. Good disengage, but going to be fine. Meanwhile, top, we see Moby1 on Born to Shine taking a decent amount of damage. Moby1 getting charged in the wall. Ezo, however, not quite easily taking people out yet. They are stacking W quests, so it's not going to be the most single target burn onto things such as Muradin. But it will still do a fair amount given the opportunity in these bigger team fights. We just haven't seen any of them yet. And I've realized I've done something. There we go. Heading out team fights. We do have one coming out now. Astro Ski going down to the end. Tychus finding the kill there. And that is a good healer kill. That is exactly what you need if you're 30 seconds to Mosh. It's kind of been pretty even at that point. Only Jaina had died. But that will kind of start the momentum going. Just boosting even the healer for a little bit is a problem. And we can see how Siege Camp was done bottom. I guess that was why Kerrigan was down there. But the red team on 30 seconds to Mosh does get their web weavers in. Stop standing on fire. Does get their gems in first. Pull coming out from Harkin, not quite finding one. Grenade on the other hand finding. Stun onto Muradin. Moby1 does jump out. There is no pull to follow up as Harkin did just use that earlier. And actually Kerrigan is quite low on resources. They do have tap up by the looks of it. They'll be fine. They tap up, they're going to be fine. They do have their mana rolling through. But meanwhile, Web Weavers are dropping now. We do see middle one is going to be a little bit unguarded. Bottom one, a little bit harder for Blades to do, but they just got rid of Siege now. But no, what will happen up here top? Good old wailing on the Web Weaver and seeing what it does. It does do one last wave. Brightwing gets Corner Hammer. We see Purge coming out from Bornshine. Kerrigan Pool not quite there. Sub-Zero does jump out. Well, dash out to say. Jump coming out. Awkward time for Moby1. However, a little bit more awkward for Gossamer. It doesn't catch him quite in time. So Muradin will catch like a weird small jump. Moby1, you're a little bit low. I was going to say, you're a little bit awkward to be there. But it does look like they have jump up in the Web Weaver phase. Pretty well defended all in all by Gambit Gaming Blur. They do have turn in now. And both teams about an equal distance from their tents. So it's pretty much even across the board. Sure, you have a little bit more room to work now if you're 30 seconds to Mosh. You aren't immediately under their own gates. And we do see now fights coming out. Gossamer goes really deep into a Tychus. That is not what you need to do. And Diablo goes down at the end. Yep, you see that one charge there and just a very quick punish. Yeah, sure, you're in general pretty unkillable if you're Diablo. If you're Diablo, there's a lot of teams have quite a hard time killing you early on if you don't have souls. Tychus ruins your plan and just can kill you early on. And we do actually see turn-in happen. Oh, I think it's Kerrigan bottom. Right, let's have a bring up of the talents real quick. As you can see, it is coming up shortly. I do like that little fire stomp there by Gossamer, getting vision of bushes, seeing if they can slow anyone down. But ultimately didn't quite find anyone. And then we see Moby1 hitting an excellent hammer, hitting both Harkin and Gossamer. Gossamer of one in danger. We do see the pull in. Gossamer trying the best to hold on. Meanwhile, Captain is now in danger at the back as well. But Harkin backs out. They must have been out of resources to get on top of the Captain. We see Ancestral coming out now. I don't know if that's entirely necessary, just because the Captain wasn't in any immediate danger. But with Kerrigan, you never know. There may be danger coming up very shortly. It's not something that you could just know for a fact what is about to happen. Right, we see the rotation coming down, and the team of Gambit Gaming Blur is going to start melting this. Oh, actually, no, the Gambit Gaming Blur wants to push with it, but as Diablo is only just getting back now, it's a pretty easy clear for 30 seconds to Mosh. Bottom also went down relatively early on. Half a tower, full gate, as opposed to both towers in a gate. Pretty good trade bottom. If you're 30 seconds to Mosh, you're in a pretty comfortable spot currently. And we can see there is just a little bit of patience of Blades. Blades realizing they may not quite be in the position they want to be. Harkin does find them charge coming out. And Blades ultimately fine. If you're Harkin, you need to be a little bit more onto that. As Blades charges, actually, it covers a lot of distance. Yeah, sure, I have my camera zoomed out, so it's obviously a little bit easier going. Oh, yep, there he goes. It's quite a far distance. But meanwhile, we do see turn-in happening top. And I do like that. You know what? They're bottom. Let's just quickly see what can get top, I mean. And they do get a nice little bit of combo there by the captain onto the fort, which is now at half health. Knife is double stunned by Moby1 there, getting a good double on the damage of the healer. Honestly, though, as the team was so spread out, it didn't quite matter. But ultimately, you're slowing people down, and that's fine at the end of the day. Diapants has the last of a turn in for 30 seconds to Mosh, but meanwhile we do see the totem scouts everything else. Ring of Frost comes out fine too. Harkin goes in and is going to get minigunned down. Ancestral on Sub-Zero. Harkin lives as well for enough blinks from Astro plus the phase shift, and Brightwing does very well to keep them alive. So those are two bigger cooldowns coming out, but unfortunately for Born to Shine, that phase shift will be back sooner than her Ancestral will. We do see turn having bottom. Dire does scout it. Does get a nice little Q off. A little bit of... Nope, not turn again. But no, meanwhile, up top, we do see Murden. Hanson too. Not the desired effect, but it's what you did. Sub-Zero is going to be pushing out Bloody Drapes. They are doing very well there. And now we can see Diapants is turning in top. They want to get on top of him. The zoning is too good. And Diapants does give it to him. And now we're going to get a fight coming out. Deathwing is bottom. Gossamer actually getting very low. Harkin is the one in danger though, as Ezo is wailing on the captain in the back. Captain low, Gossamer low. Phase shift used onto Harkin. So Harkin is going to be the target of Brightwing's design. Well, yeah, that's fair. Kerrigan has a little bit less survivability than a Diablo. Maybe not Diablo currently, as Diablo is low on the Soul Stone. But to quickly cap on things, we do have Ancestral Seer, Bunker, Avatar from Mirrodin, Commandeer Odin, and Ring of Frost from Jaina. Not often you see that. You usually see Water Elemental. On the other side, we do have that Rain of Vengeance and that Bellowing Roar. Speaking of Ring of Frost, there it is. It's a nice double hit, and Kerrigan is getting melted. Kerrigan needs to push her Q to live, and she cannot. The only team Moby1 flipped up, but Ezo is stepping up a little bit too much to the Commandeer Odin. Odin just outranges her by at least a smidge. Hard to say how much exactly, but it is a decent enough amount. We do see Astro and Gossamer actually trying to back out, gets hit by the stun. Now we can see the full kill coming out. Purge used by Born to Shine. That Rhaegar Purge does an 80% slow if you get hit by it, and that's basically a root at that point. And you can see it was the death sentence. Also, Astro has 28 gems now of the teams, which I think is turning by itself. But no, we're seeing a little bit of going for the throat here. There may be no Greymane, but certainly Physics of Mosh has that mentality. But by no means is it a sold game. Level 13s are through for both teams, and well, there's a very good 13s for both sides. We do have the single target protection from Lightning Shield, which is interesting from Born Shine, but it does kind of make sense as what Deathwing wants off. Bloody Drapes, however, is Deathwing themselves, so they're going to be running. Good try at Body Block from Diapants, and Moby1 does get a little bit of stun damage, that charge damage out. 50 health left, 60, nope, it's slowly climbing, nope. Tiger's caught up in the end, and we'll go down. Brightwing does say that their phase shift is ready to use. But as we know, that doesn't quite matter if you are Dire. Dire, back out, good. Brightwing did hand that in, then phase shift down, but as I was about to say, Brightwing can't phase shift to Deathwing. Deathwing is the only character in the game that can't be interacted with your ally abilities. So they can't get healed. They can't get aberhatted. They can't get shielded. 30 seconds of Mosh starting bottom. They just want to rip that real quick. They are close to 16s as well, so they can be a little bit... They can afford to be a little bit patient just so they do get that advantage. But we do see now that it's a very almost defensive use of Web Weavers, as top wave's very cleared out. Warning pin coming out. Captain shows first. Does get a nice stun. Oh, weird little stun by Gossamer, but as Gossamer now stuck between a rock and a halfway, Deathwing lands directly on top. Gossamer relatively low, will go down first. Captain have to back out. Harkin on top of him. Bunker has been dropped. We see Born to Shine jumps in it, and we do see Harkin now as the one in danger. Here comes the Purge. And the stun actually doesn't quite find Harkin, but does find Ezo. Ezo using the roll. Bloody Drapes now in all position. I imagine, yep, we're going to see that Cataclysm come out, and we do see Bloody Drapes fly out of danger. And I love that Dark Nexus like shimmer with the triangle hexagon type shapes. And only just after that fight, just now that Web Weaver gets up to the gate, that was its first wave that it shot. It didn't even... We can see that mid top fort was barely touched. Mid, relatively low. Bottom, healthy, healthy, healthy. And we do see a boss call by 30 seconds to Mosh. If you are Gambit Gaming Blur, what you may just want to do is park the bus a little, see if you can get 16, see if you can slow down the momentum of 30 seconds to Mosh. If you're them, you want to kind of freeze for waves almost. You can use this boss as a good example of it, where boss is going to push lane in. There's not too much you can do about it. That will probably get top. You're going to trade bottom here. That's fine. You're then going to need to immediately back, which is also fine. And there's no actual rotation down. Mosh, 36 Mosh actually has the turn in once again. So we're going to have a boss and a web weaver not too long after it. They probably needed to turn it immediately and get those web weavers down as soon as possible. Because now we can see boss is probably going to go at least to a third health, maybe a quarter health by the time the web weavers get here. But the burn is starting upon it, and Commandeer Odin is to follow. You know, I say that, but that's provided, you know, the building lives. But we see it's at half health, web weavers still coming. And that is a lot of damage coming out. Bloody Drapes in regret uses that Bellowing Roar. We can see there is roughly a third health now. The web weavers are spawning a little bit back here. Lightning Breath coming out. I don't know if that is the most effective, but I do like it in terms of the surviving the CC, which there is a lot of. Boss is just going to get one last hit off the core, and that does get rid of the shields. And now we're in an awkward situation where we do have a nice double stun onto both the Kerrigan and Gossamer on that Diablo. However, 56 Mosh relatively slow, but not as low as that Diablo. Diablo goes down. Nice pull by Harkin A. And Born to Shine uses Lightning Shield themselves. Went down to 10 health for a brief moment, but will be fine. And that's now 2 kills for 56 and Mosh. They are going to continue backing out, but if they can get one more pick here, that may be a choice to end. As we can see, structure is low, but no, 56 and Mosh do back out. Alright. Diablo had Soulstone up. That is on me, so they are just going to play safe. And they know they're a little bit lower in health and resources. Born to Shine trying to top them back up. But we now have 2 forts gone. As I said, I think if you're Gambit Gaming Blur, Creed is a different one. If you're Gambit Gaming Blur, just kind of slow down the pace. Kill the back minions. Don't bother killing the front ones. Then let it just kind of slow push. Because if you do decide to freeze the lanes, you can deny a lot of experience, as well as, more importantly, the gems on this map. You can see 30 seconds Mosh are now having to find value elsewhere. The waves aren't viable, so they are needing to camp. And honestly, this is, I think, the second time they're picking up their camp. They could have done a little bit better, but I do like the discipline that has been coming out from Gambit Gaming Blur, as they've been pretty good on those camps, and they've also just been pretty, they're doing alright in terms of macro in general. 30 seconds of Mosh just do seem to have that team fight kind of down pat, and thus the double tank is very hard to get through. And we do see the double tank lining up its next target, which flew away, so they are just going to go straight for the gate. Yes, abilities. I like abilities being pushed on gates, but we do see the team backing out now. Deathwing went to the sky before they could get touched, which very fortunate for them, because that was a lot of people coming down. But ultimately, it's going to be fine for them. And what do we have? We do have some safe play. What a surprise. May as well play safe. You don't quite want to go down yet. It is not ideal, but we do see turn-in is available for Gambit Gaming Blur. Is this the thing that they need? You'd hope. You'd hope that what is. Blaze is actually separate from the rest. You know where Blaze is. You know where the rest of the team is here if you're Gambit Gaming Blur. You run it either Blaze as your 4-man or you 5-man run top. Because that was the... yeah, no, in that instance, you run at Blaze alone. Just because there was the 20s through for 56 to Mosh. Barely, but it was through. And actually, not Moby 1. Harkin does finally get their quest off. And that's a lot of extra damage. They do get the stun off, but that's a little bit too much damage around them. Sub-Zero does dash. Nice ice block from the captain, which Bloody Drapes had from cover the whole time, but ice block does last a little bit longer than Deathwing's fire breath. Especially with this build. What's this build? What? I don't know what that build is, so I'm going to ignore it. I don't really play Deathwing, so I can't comment too much. But again, we have a position where 36... I thought we were going to go to the gate. 30 seconds to Mosh are looking for things to do, almost. They don't have hand in. They're getting closer. The rest of the team of Gambit Gaming Blur are really not wanting to step up at present, which understandable. Sorry about my camera work. I was readjusting something else. So we do have a very merry-go-round type gameplay where nothing's really happening, except we do see a little sneak coming in top. They're getting a little sneak as a treat. They're sneaking that turn in. Sneaky. I can go higher, but yes. No, they are going to get that turn in, I believe. No, not held by just VM. We do... Who has for rest? Deathwing. Deathwing of the Sky has a rest. I'm like, what? What am I missing? I know I could push this, but one of these. Oh no, it's actually a pretty even split. They need 2 others to turn in. But no, it looks like 30 seconds to Mosh now that Kerrigan's respawn chooses to push objective. I think this may have been a little late for score, but we'll have to see how it goes. There's a lot of damage coming out. Born to Shine does pop that lightning shield. Elemental Conduit, I should say. Actually, there's a lot of healing coming out. We do see that as 2 kills for Jaina. We do see that Frozen Snap come out as that middle circle does come. Sub-Zero, Overwhelm, hitting Core, hitting Deathwing. That Commandeer Odin does a lot, as we do see Big Red button dropping on the Core. And this is, keep in mind, 4 members, all members up for 30 seconds. 3 members left for Gambit, Gaming, Blur. And that will be Diablo squeezing in a death right at the end. And that is our first game of the series going on over to the side of 30 seconds to Mosh. GG's called by both sides. Well played. Right, let's look at the game summary screen, shall we? I've got to figure... Like, you can't move the text in replays, which is really annoying. I've tried. If someone could tell me, that'd be great. But let's have a look at that. So in terms of damage, siege, and such, we do have siege damage being very close between Jaina and Vala. And actually, Blaze did pull ahead of Bloody Drapes. As I said, Blaze... I should say Dire pulls ahead of Bloody Drapes. But Blaze is a better soaker in general over Deathwing. That is kind of what Blaze is no longer that general tank that people originally saw him as. He is very much now an offlaner in most people's eyes, and we can see that there in action. Other thing to note, damage, Vala actually pulled ahead of most. Vala doing excellent amount, Tychus not too far behind, but in terms of healing, Rhaegar was able to squeeze out a little bit more than Brightwing there, or actually a 40k more than Brightwing, but Brightwing had a lot of AoE to deal with, and that's not something Brightwing does well into. She can do a decent amount of single target with things like phase shift and blink heals, but in terms of AoE, you have your passive go off every 4 seconds, which is not the most. It's enough to keep you alive for a little, but it's not spectacular. In terms of soak, Blaze did end up more than Kerrigan. Kerrigan picking up those stacks, as she did need those. To talent, so have a look at that real quick. Kerrigan going that Q build. I like Diablo. I do like W build Diablo. It does a lot of people very good, especially with Soul Shield. Gives so much cooldown reduction of that Soul Shield, because every time you do damage, and with you just pushing out W's as quick as possible, you get that back quite quick. And I do like the Purification pickup by Born to Shine. She used that quite well. Very aggressive with those purges, because it is 15 seconds off cooldown. It does a lot. Tychus 160 stacks. Nice. Didn't even realize it was stacking. Vala at 79. Yeah, Vala was starting to get to a critical point where she was going to hurt. So very good that 30 seconds to Mosh into there. But right, let me go back over to my map view screen. As I set up the next replay, and we have 30 seconds to Mosh winning map number 1. As I say after most casts, during most replay casts, I don't know who map picks and who first picks in these situations. Just as it's not information I have on hand, I'd kind of have to spoil the results for myself if I do that, so I do not like looking at it. Albeit the results are kind of spoiled for me. I don't know how many maps were played, and it's not really something I want to do, because this could still be a free map series as far as I know, but I'm not quite certain about that one. Right, we are getting into it now. It is... I forgot to... Cursed Hollow. It's Cursed Hollow. They're already in the game, so I'm going to have to jump over there immediately. So you can see Cursed Hollow very briefly. And so starting with 30 seconds to Mosh this time, because I started with GGB. Gambit Gaming Blur the other time. So we'd have Born Shine back on Rhaegar, the captain on Cassia, Moby 1 on Diablo, Raka, Blaze, and Sub-Zero on the Tassadar this time. On the other hand, we do have Bloody Drapes on the Leoric. We do have Harkonnens on the Hammer. Sergeant Hammer left alone. That is not often you see Sergeant Hammer left alone anymore in competitive play, but it is going to be what we're seeing today. Izo is on the Greymane. Astroski is on the Tyrande, and as we all know, if Tyrande hits her owl at the beginning of a game, that is usually bad fortune for the opposition. So 30 seconds to Mosh do have to watch out this game. They have been hit with that owl curse. Sub-Zero, however, not too fussed by that, and just very happy with the owl smooch instead. Thing note, we do also have Gossamer on the Joanna. Speaking of Joanna, she did go double blinds, which will make it a little bit harder for, I was going to say, for anyone auto-attacking, but we're actually a very spell-heavy team here. We do have Cassia stacking Thunderstroke. Also do like the little banter here. Yeah, but yeah, Thunderstroke, Cassia, and Sub-Zero Tessa going W build. I do really like W build. I think it's fun. I think it's neat. I get happy when I see it. I prefer Q build, however. But we do also see Greymane is going into that traditional auto-attack build, thanks to that there. And I like 30 seconds to Mosh taking this camp first. I like taking this camp because it's because if you take this 1 second, it'll be further away from a tribute, so you want to take this close to tribute. Similarly, Gambit Gaming Blur taking this camp first makes sense as well, just because tribute will be right next to the lane it wants to push, so you don't want it as a free clear. I do like the little push around happening here, but nope, we do see that camp is done. Born to Shine is going to back, and meanwhile we're just going to have a good old fight down here. Harkin sitting in the... I don't know if that was a good use of booster. Captain taking a lot of damage. I think if you're Captain, you just kind of let Hammer push into you a little, blind them as need, but you don't really want to step up to all in them, as that can get quite punishing as we go through a game. I imagine we're going to see Plate of a Whale. Yeah, Plate of a Whale from the Captain, so we're going to get that self-healing going as time goes along. Also, this Bruiser camp is right by the gate. This is what you want. Oh, Blaze is dead. Creepy Hand Leoric strikes again. But no, coming back down here. That, in fact, did get a lot of pressure on gate. That's what you want if you have that earlier camp. You want to get what you can. We do see actually Diablo and Tassadar rotating up now. I think you want to be a bit more patient. And Born to Shine is just capping this camp now. This is very important because... Oh, she really needs to camp it because Vial has found her. Grab it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, no, sorry. I was a little bit early. 2:30. Yeah, makes sense. But no, Harkin now needs to make the choice to either stay or go, which we're getting very aggressive to Captain, which is maybe not the best idea. Meanwhile, we do have a lot of siege coming in mid. Born to Shine, not quite the best to solo clear this, and actually if you're Gambit Gaming Blur, I'd almost stay here and keep pushing, but no, we're going to get fight up here instead, and Ezo now is the one in danger. Charge coming out, finding both of them. There's the cleave. Do we have a Tassadar wall as well? No, there was no wall there. What number are you? Wall was still on cooldown, so that is a little bit off. Did I really say cooldown? My words are failing me today. I really shouldn't do cast to say, oh, there's wall. Bloody Drape stuck between a rock and a hard place and unable. Oh, sorry, to escape. Sorry about sneezing. Meanwhile, this Bruiser camp has been pushing the whole time. It got all of front game. This is a lot of good value that Gambit Gaming Blur got off mid. Yeah, Spell Armor doing a lot as well to stop Sub-Zero and the likes of the Captain, who did have to stay bottom to steal with Harkin. Harkin getting very aggressive. Honestly, I think you swap Blaze and Cassia. Blaze actually, I think, would do better into Hammer here, because Blaze can just get that quick engage. Blaze went Oil at level 7, which slows down their attack speed. And I think Leoric wants to go into a bigger body as well, so maybe the one thing I'd say is swap around the Blaze and the Cassia, and you may have an easier time that early game, but as you can see, the Captain really struggling this time, and I hope they made that call. Of course, I could also be told I'm a dumbass, and that's also appropriate. Oh, charge coming out to Gossamer just before the Iron Skin runs out, which, very lucky if you Gossamer, well, always fine. And Diablo is actually an interesting intelligence. Malevolence. Just that extra little bit of burst damage. It does mean you can't quite CC as much of that auto attack build, which we do see with Life Leech. But it does have quite a potent kick to it, as 137 extra spell damage is certainly a lot. Meanwhile, bottom we do see Cassie in trouble, and Raka is down bottom now. This is what I wanted to see. So I'll be very happy if they keep it this way. You don't necessarily need to step in such as that. You're not going to find an easy time, but you just throw oil under them. They're going to be in trouble. You charge. You stand your own oil. You throw oil under them again. Essentially, you're wanting to be throwing oil under the Hammer as in like a rinse repeat. Hammer now in danger. Nice charge by Raka. Harkin is going to have the first part of their booster kind of pushed away, but it does go for long enough where they are able to escape. And Hammer has actually been very well managed. They haven't been able to get as much value as they like. They've literally only gone maybe just over half a tower at this point, which Not ideal, but we can see 30 seconds to Mosh aren't in a position to really fight. So there is a call to start boss. Born to Shine already on it. You can see warning pings coming out. They're just not sure. Well, Gambit Gaming is not sure where it is. They check Bruiser Camp. At this point, they're going to go... They're probably on boss, I'd imagine. You should know by now. And 30 seconds to Mosh doesn't have the fastest boss clear, but they certainly can do well in it. Tribute only just spawned. They grab it, and I imagine we're going to see them answering with their own, which I think they can get through their own boss just that little bit quicker. Born to Shine getting relatively low to the boss damage itself. Maybe one needs to step up a little bit more. We do see it. But already this boss at half. That's just the difference between the single target damage, the PvE damage between the two teams. Yeah, but just with the heavy auto attack speed, you do very well if you're Gambit Gaming Blue. You get through bosses, you can get through buildings really well. And also, Blaze is now in trouble. Raka stayed a little bit long. Harken just a little bit early on that. Stun does eventually hit them. Bodybot coming out. We do see a nice stun. And there is the... Bunker is used. But Bloody Drapes did use the Entomb on themselves. If you're Raka, maybe you need a little bit earlier there, but that's neither here nor there. It was always going to be a fast rotate onto you. You can't do much about that. So we are going to get a fort trade here. Which this technically favors Gambit Gaming Blur, as they can now just get this objective, and there's not too much 30 seconds Mosh can really do about it, just because they are missing that well, they are missing structures there, they don't have anywhere to fall back to, but they're doing pretty well in team fights so far, so it'll be very interesting to see what they decide to do here. But no, it looks like just choose clear boss for both teams. Buddy Drapes is a little bit less to get through, but there's more members of 30 seconds to Mosh there, so I think this is just going to be another give by the looks of things. So the next objective after this one is likely going to be the one that matters. No, we are actually going to get some fighting going out. Captain stepping up, does get found by Gossamer. Cursed Bullet comes out, finding Captain. Astroski turning in, and it looks like 36 and Mosh actually don't want to give this. Apot comes out, finds just the Hammer actually. Hammer had used boosters there, so will be the one going down. They have no escape. Ancestral coming out, healing for Captain. The Captain will be fine. But meanwhile, Moby-1 also jumps to that bunker, and that bunker is so good at dodging damage. Alright, damage coming out. Captain seeing what they can do with it. E bending in. That is a lot coming out. Bloody Drapes push. We do see that they're running out of resources. Astro Key, Gossamer, and Ezo all running out of health. Running out of mana as well for Gossamer. And Bloody Drapes is dead. Ezo now the next one on the firing line. Does have W put under him. Does get taken out by Cassia Q. Bloody Drapes doing one last creepy swipe while the eject is being channeled. That can't stop it. So they will ultimately get it in the end. And as I say, yeah, if you're 30 seconds, push bottom. Get what value you can, even up that bottom lane. That will make it much easier for you in the long run. I do like that Blaze is split. Blaze splitting here, honestly, great idea, 10 out of 10. You want to get as much value during this as possible. You want to get as much soak during this as possible if you can. Gossamer stepping up, however, maybe not the best idea, but ultimately they popped Iron Skin and were able to get out. Blaze has been pinged upon. We do see the Entomb coming out. Rocket is going to be fine for a while. Does pop that armor. We do see now the Collapse is coming out. E used. I think you need to use... Oh, Bunker not quite off cooldown. That is unfortunate. Blaze so close to getting out, but unfortunately... Just... I do see now why... I saw one message in the Div E chat of Raka saying, I was feeling really loved game 2. It makes sense now. Map number 2, feeling loved. Absolutely makes sense. We see that electric fence coming out. Bloody Drapes just forced away. And that is now a structure advantage for 36 and Mosh. Harken has been left alone. What a surprise. Hammer alone does hit a building. Yay. But no, that is smart. You're trying to get what value you can away from a team fight sometimes. And maybe you need a hammer to defend there a little easier. But they didn't get fought, so it doesn't matter too much. However, got a little bit too much of a 4-man stand to get with him. They can't really soak mid safely. Maybe if there's 2 or 3 of them, they can. Blaze is doing what they can. Top, bottom, no. That's all I can say about bottom, no. You don't want to be up there. But I do want to see a kind of good old brawl happening mid now. Both camps have been pushing it roughly the same time. Gambit Gaming Blurs is a little bit delayed compared to 30 seconds to Mosh, but not by much. Right, Gossamer steps up. If 30 seconds to Mosh, I don't think you want to give him this much room. You can... Blaze is now gone. Cassia left as well to do camp. Yep, you're just backing out. You may have to forfeit mid here then if you're going to do so. Sub-Zero doing what damage he can. Blessed Shield being ripped directly on him. That's a follow-up stun. We do see Ancestral coming out. Give Sub-Zero be alive a little bit longer, but nope, that's a little bit too much damage for them. As they are taken out the end by Sergeant Hammer. Meanwhile, building is being run at by Gambit, Gaming, Blur. There's not going to be much to stop them, as I said. We do have Cassie away from team. We have Blaze away from team. They got bottom camp, but no, mid fort will go down. And kind of what structured advantage you did have, or could have had, if you chose to fight, is null, essentially. It has been minimized greatly. Rocket in behind does get a nice stun to Gossamer. Gossamer has nothing to get out and will ultimately go down. Oh, the insta mount from the captain. We do have the spooky ghost walk coming out. Owl hitting Born to Shine. The fast hitting captain. E did not. And the oil coming out now. We do see the slow, and that is a lot for what Tyrande can heal through. And Tyrande, just 15 health, does get taken down the end by Blaze Q. Obi-Wan now is the one in danger. We do see the Apocalypse popped at the end. Soulstone at least is up, so Diablo is back up. But that is a good way to get rid of that Soulstone. And just a good little bit of extra experience if you are Gambit Gaming Blur. You're trying to stay in this. You do have a little bit of a level deficit, almost one full level, but it's more like 3/4. So by no means is it the end of the world, and Raka is healing themselves up as we speak. I didn't talk about heroics yet. I think I don't actually recall seeing Black Hole being used by Tassadar yet, but we do have Black Hole Tassadar. We do have that Bunker Blaze, Ball Lightning Li Ming, Apoc Diablo, which you actually can combo very well with Black Hole, as well as we do see that Ancestral Healing on the Rhaegar, who is helping Team do boss. And the bottom, we do see Bloody Drapes to go that Entomb, the Blessed Shield Joanna, Luna Starfall, Bloody Starfall on the Tyrande, Napalm Strike on the Hammer, which I do really like the Napalm Strike a lot. It does allow you just to zip around a little. You're not forced into that siege tank mode to deal with waves. But right, as I say, I do think we could just have a oh, Gossamer does pop Iron Skin. At this point, I don't know if you want to keep chasing. No, honestly, you just want to clear boss. You both teams have an equal amount to lose. But you're all there, you can get rid of it. And you don't care too much about curse this time around. No one is getting the objective of this. No one's getting cursed. It's just 2 out of 3 for either team. And we can see that Astro Ski is the one to get it. I really need to make my mouse smaller as well when I'm casting. I'm really just looking at like tiny things going, I can do this better, this better, this better. But no, we do see both bosses. Well, one boss down already, didn't quite get through the full gate. But the other boss starting to slap the building. Harkin doing what they can. But it's a little bit faster for the boss than Harkin. But honestly, Harkin enough time where they got a head start on the boss on the fort. And now we finally see 36 and Mosh getting that mid fort. As we can see, keep up here. But nope, fort is down. And 36 and Mosh are just kind of dipping. Dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge, and they don't want to be there. They're just going to get out of dodge. To reference an older movie. Oh, what is that movie? Is it literally just called Dodgeball? Anyone potentially know? I do not know. It's not me. I've not seen it in many years. I remember there being a lot of those weird sport type movies. Like Blades of Glory. Is that Ping Pong one? A lot of really weird ones that I saw when I was quite young. I like Blades of Glory. I'm now feeling like Blades of Glory, Zoolander, some weird movies. You know, we can see if it's going to be a fight coming out here. That wall does separate things. Black Hole. Oh, no, I have seen that actually before. Actually, now I think about it. But no, that is a nice fend and lightning ball by Cassia. And that was just too much damage on the front line. Gossamer doing what they can. Does use a Blessed Shield to get up. They do throw out a blind. And Hammer, meanwhile, stuck in the lurch. Will go down. And this objective won't be kept by Gambit Gaming Blue. But if you're 50 seconds to Mosh, you, I think, run top and take that building. Especially now, you go through top and you see if you can get something. Oh, you have a big wave mid. Go mid. Go mid. Go mid. You got a big wave mid. Raka, stay over team. I don't know. I don't think you could end here. I don't think you could end here, which is fair. Just is not quite enough. Death timers aren't quite long enough. We do see Hammer will be up in a bit. We do see that Bloody Drapes is the Orc, so it will be up in a short few moments. But now we do have that Entomb coming up. Born to Shine is one danger. Nice stun by Moby. One will ultimately be fine. Born to Shine even better. But nope, we do see the dive in. Astral Ski struggling to keep up what damage is coming out. But they're doing their best with that Tyrande. And they are actually doing a damn fine job from what I'm aware. Yep, 30k healing. Not quite as much as the Rhaegar, but it is always inherently harder. Bloody Drapes goes down once again, and we do see the Lightning Ball then taking out the Tyrande. And I think you want this building if you're 36 to Mosh. You don't need the objective immediately, which I know it is going to be the curse objective, but is that necessary? I'm not sure. I guess if you're scared of Hammer and you don't want to fight to it, it makes sense. I'm just not sure about that one. 20's very much around the corner, 36 to Mosh. That may be why they chose to back out. That makes a little bit more sense now that I'm saying that out loud and haven't made a note of the talents. But speaking of talents, we do have Hellgate from Diablo, Burn Notice, Blaze, Elemental Conduit on the Rhaegar, Force Barrier Tessida, and Cassie's having a good think about it. I imagine we're going to see, yep, Infinite Lightning. Right, now we're in Danger Zone. We do see Moby-Wan using Hellgate, dashing in. We do see that is a very dead Sergeant Hammer. Now we do see Ghost used by Bloody Drapes not wanting to stay. They do have Entomb up, but there's not really much point quite doing it there. Under Core, that could be quite interesting, because minus 75 armor on any hero will make you melt. Through which there is the Entomb now. Moby-Wan, however, already charged out of it, so it's a little bit of a misfire there. Raka hitting Core from underneath. We do see that now we're going to get a big fight coming out. Moby-Wan is holding on for dear life. We do see it minus 75 armor. We do see they're going down slowly, but will eventually go down to Joanna. Joanna, even with 75 armor, does a decent amount of damage. Gossamer in the middle of things does get hit by a good Q. Will go down. We see Bunker being dropped, and all 4 members... Oh, no. Bunker died. Never mind. No 4 members in there. It's not a full house party, but it is going to be a full house. And an end to the series as 30 seconds to Mosh take the series 2-0. GG's. Call by both sides. Well played. Alright, let me swap it on over to my game summary screen and let's have a look at how this went. Again, I can't get rid of these early. It's like /clear thing. No, that's only in, I guess that's only in the general in the chat and the actual launch screen itself, where you can join channels and such, which leave channels, so yeah, I guess that makes sense. But very good game there from both sides. Actually a little bit stronger showing from Gambit Gaming Blur. They did cause some issues for 30 seconds to Mosh. However, 30 seconds to Mosh did take him in. I do like how Ezo, once again, doing well with that damage. They're quite hard to deal with, and Hammer also getting that split value. It was quite difficult having Cassia into Hammer, but I guess both Cassia and Blaze were not ideal in that situation, but it may have been easier for Cassia to go into Leoric than Blazes. So it may have been one less there. It's hard to say in those given situations. You're not quite sure what exactly is key. But in saying that, the captain did very well to hold Harkin at bay, which very good against a Hammer when you don't really have a true Hammer check. You do have your blinds, you do have your Qs, but Hammer playing very smart there. Healing, excellent stuff by Bornstein did well. However, damage, actually, Tyrande did a good 24k more than Rhaegar, but didn't quite matter because the block was a little bit too much. Soak, as I said, Harkin did very well, but in terms of actual Soak itself, Harkin and, well, Raka and the captain all basically neck and neck and neck, both around averaging that 12k. A little bit more to Harkin, but they were doing a little bit more of that Soak in the late game than Raka and Cassia were, but there was that level advantage where more of 36 and Mosh were there for the team fight. In terms of talents, anything that stands out, we did have Creepy Hand Leoric, which does make sense into the double front line of Blaze, Diablo, but I do think it's just a little bit less consistent than the others. I think you get more value out of Ghost, especially when Cassie and Tassadar don't really have any true damage or percent damage. They just have their magic damage, which Ghost build can do a lot to close that off. I do see that we've got a relatively general Sergeant Hammer build, we've got a relatively general Greymane build. Everything else makes sense. I do like a lot of these builds that's being played. The only thing that I really question is the Leoric build. But no, all in all, both teams did very well this series. 30 Seconds to Mosh did take it, but there are definitely moments where Gambit Gaming Blur looks like they can come back. But as we saw, it was indeed a 2-0 over to the side of 30 Seconds to Mosh. Well played by both teams. And that was a good replay to watch. Those teams were both competitive. They both were actually like, maybe go, oh yeah, there's some good stuff here. I like this a lot. But at the end of the day, there was just a little bit, the coin flipped into 30 Seconds to Mosh's corner a bit too much. They did get the job done in the end. I'm going to see if he's going to want to raid. I'm not sure who I know at this time of night, because boy, it is a time of night, all right. It is not quite when you expect to see things going on, which, when Twitch loads, we can raid Oopsie. Yeah, we can do that. I've casted her before. She's an excellent person. So let me just get that rolling in the background. But right, that has been it for me. I have been the Lime Bus. It is an excellent casting once again. I do enjoy when people turn along, even if you're quiet, because it makes me at least feel a little bit better about talking to myself in front of a screen, especially at the later night hours of the night. But to everyone in the chat, I hope you have a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are in the Nexus, because time zones are just a little bit weird. So I'll see you all in the Nexus. Goodbye, at least, for like 15 hours. Not 15 hours, 18 hours, 20 hours, somewhere around that. But right, catch you guys later.